hopefully you see my screen now. Yes, that's a yes,
Yes.
Mike. Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a little conversation with ChatGPT, and the reason I call it that is because the way to think about ChatGPT is that it is a thing that you converse with. It's a little different than Google and other things. So we'll see about this. So let's just get started. What are we covering here? Well, we're gonna talk about what is ChatGPT, how you can use it, how other people use it, and then let's start with what is the G in ChatGPT? Well, G is for generative. It means that they generate answers for you. It's not a bunch of canned answers and they just pick the right one. They're created on the fly for you. So that's the most important part, is the G. Remember that part. We've done well. P is for pre-trained and T is for transformative. Well, I think it's transformer. Yes. So now we could ask ChatGPT about itself and find out what they think they are, and we will in a little bit. We're going to access it through a web page like this, and if we were to go to Wikipedia and ask them what ChatGPT is, they'll give you this blah 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 blah. And basically what it is it's a system that's been fed a whole lot of text, web pages, books, encyclopedia stuff, and it's kind of learned how to write good English sentences, and more than that, actually, other languages too. So it's very good at giving you what feel like natural language answers to your natural language requests. So is it like Siri? No, not really. Maybe sort of. Is it like Google? No, not at all. With Google, Google's got no has no memory. So if you say, let's say you ask Google to find you a hotel in Santa Barbara, it gives you a list of hotels, and then if you don't like the list of hotels and you say, well, what I really wanted was one closer to the beach, you then have to ask a new request. You have to say, find me hotels in Santa Barbara near the beach. Whereas with a person, you would just say, just show me the ones that are close to the beach. Well, with ChatGPT, that's what you do also. You have a follow-up question or a follow-up request, and so it's quite different than Google in that regard. Also, Google is taking you, basically they're taking you to web pages, right? They're taking you to a list of web pages that they think answer your question. And ChatGPT isn't doing that. They're just giving you the answer. They're not taking you to a web page. So since we know it's not really like Siri and it's not at all like Google, what is it like? Well, we could ask ChatGPT about it to explain itself. And we're going to have to create an account to do that. I'll show you how we do that in a minute. There is, of course, just the web page, chat.openai.com. The web page looks like this. This is the web page, right? Chat.openai.com. OpenAI is the company that makes ChatGPT. So if you were to type in chat.openai.com, you would get to where you need to be, and that would be, why don't I get there too? Let's chat.openai.com. So if you don't have an account, you need to make one. You come over here and sign up. Now, in my experience, signing up is easier if you do it in Chrome. I've had some trouble signing up in Safari. Once it's signed up, you're good. You're good to log in. So if you do have trouble, try Chrome. So let's see what else. Let me see what else I had on here. So of course you can do it on the phone. There is an official ChatGPT app for the phone, and there's a lot of other apps that are going to charge you like crazy. Now, remember this: ChatGPT right now they have two flavors. They have a free version, then there's a version you can pay for. The free version is fine to start, so we'll go free. And so Don't let anybody say you need to pay for it because you don't need to. All right. So once you have an account, whether you're using it on the phone or using it on your Mac, you will on occasion have to prove that you're not a robot. But basically, once you're signed in, you'll still stay signed in. Okay, and you will get some disclaimers. So the ChatGPT that we're using is it's technically it's a research preview, which means they would like your feedback. So when they give you answers, you're able to give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down to tell whether you like that answer. You don't have to, but you may as well take advantage of this chance to help train it. Okay, and so there's a little bit of data collection by them. They're going to analyze the conversations you have with it. Let's see what's next. Okay. Okay, now, like I say again, you don't need to pay for it. I found on the App Store a whole bunch of iPhone apps that had the name ChatGPT in them, and they had a weekly fee, right? You had to pay money every week. That's nuts. Don't do that. If you want to go with the pro version, what they call the plus version on ChatGPT, you can pay $20 a month, and you do get extra stuff. And I've done that, and I'll show you why I do that. But you don't have to do that. Okay, so now let's ask ChatGPT what it is. Now that we have an account, and before we do, I'm gonna go and log in with my account here. So here's me, and that's one, and then we'll signing in. We'll sign in like that. Okay, so now I'm signed in. Okay, so ChatGPT. I want to show you one little disclaimer here. When you first come in, they're going to show you this. And part of it is this part down here. Check your facts. It's not always accurate. Okay, so they really want to. They're very helpful. They really want to be helpful, and so sometimes they give you answers that get them off the hook for at least they gave you an answer, but it's not always right. So you can't if you ask them to pick a stock for you, I wouldn't do that. Okay, so now let's go back here and let's look at ChatGPT. So there's these two versions. There's the GPT 3.5. There's the GPT 4, which is this is the one that you pay for. Okay, so we're going to start with the free one. The way it's set up is you have a this will be a list of conversations you've had, or chats, a list of chats that you've had with ChatGPT, and you can go back to any one of them and look at what it is you asked for. For now, we're going to just start with a new one, and down here they have some ideas to try to get you started. But let's start. I'm going to go here and make a new chat, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, I'm going to suppose I'm going to go to Santa Barbara for a weekend. So I'm going to say, suggest an itinerary, 3-day weekend in Santa Barbara, California. So I do that. Now, this is not the sort of thing you can type into Google and expect to get a good answer. So I hit return here, and here we go. So quickly, they've given me quite a lot of answers. Let's scroll up here and see what it is they really said. So I asked for this, and they've told me about Santa Barbara, how nice it is, day one. Okay. So I'm going to ask them, since they've given me some good suggestions, but I'm going to tell them that the things that I like are not exactly the things that they gave me. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a little bit more of a custom-made itinerary for me. So I like gardens, good views, local flavors for food and nice architecture. Can you revise this to include the things I like? Also, I'm going to say, give me a hotel near the beach and give me web links for everything you suggest. Okay? Like you would to a person, okay? So now they're generating this revised answer. And you can tell that they're doing it because you saw little dots down there. And so now they've picked a hotel for me, and they've recommended a cafe, and that we're going to go to the Santa Barbara courthouse and see its beautiful gardens. That's great. More good things. Now, what they didn't do, they didn't give me web links for these things, right? So they're not perfect. Oh, here we go. Here's the links. Very good. Maybe they are perfect. So, you know, if I want to go to Brophy Brothers, they suggested Brophy Brothers for their clam chowder, I think. I could click here and I could go there. So that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do, I'm asking just a little bit more just to make this easier for me. I'm going to say, could you put the web links next to the, we'll put in the itinerary in context and make the various venues and attractions bold so I can see them better. Okay, so now this is the sort of thing that you would not do with a person probably. Even if you had a really great assistant, you probably would not ask them to do this again the way I did, just because you want it to be prettier. But these guys have, I mean, he's infinite patience, right? So it's not that I didn't ask right, they just didn't read my mind. So now I've got something that I like. This is better. Now you can see I've got the things I want are bold. It would have been nice to have a link to the Santa Barbara courthouse, but that's, yeah, now I've got State Street like this. You know, so they're close, they're better. So that's the sort of thing that they can do. Now let's look at some other things that they might do. I'm going to look at some examples that I have, sort of pre-canned examples. So I could plan a trip to Naples, go visit George. Okay, and here they actually did it for me. I could write a press release. Now I have a nephew who works for a small city in California. He needs to do these sorts of things. Well, he can write a sort of a generic press release and save himself a lot of time by doing that. Maybe we'll do one of these. Suppose you had a business where it's real estate is your business, and you want to be able to come up with a new social media post every day. And here they just did it for us. Do another one. Suppose you had to give a class about ChatGPT. Here's a hypothetical situation, and you wanted an outline for it. Well, looky here, they can do that. I'm going to do that in just a minute. And so even here, make some suggestions about meals based on what I have in the fridge. You have to tell it, but let's see if I can do this here. I'm going to make a new chat now. I'm going to keep that Santa Barbara 3-day trip there, but I'll make a new chat now. I get the chance to make it a ChatGPT 3.5 or a 4. I'll still use a 3.5 because we're still working free here. I'm going to say provide an outline for a 1-hour talk about ChatGPT. All right. So looky here. So now I didn't do this, but it's sort of nice to look at this and see, look what they say here. Welcome and intro, brief overview, blah, 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 blah. So we already talked about what is ChatGPT, blah, 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 how it works. You're seeing that. So boy, is that handy. If you need to give a talk on something, what a great way to go. So I'm going to show you some other examples of ChatGPT in action here. So they're very good at programming, very good, because programming is nice and precise, so it's easy. So I had them write an Apple script that copies the attachments from emails and puts them into a folder on the desktop. That sounds like a handy thing to do. I also had a need to do something with Excel. I wanted to use an Apple script to do something in Excel, and they could help me do that. And even if all you want to do is make an Excel formula, they can do that. So let's see some other examples. We'll do some of these. I have a doctor friend who's a specialist in burns in Los Angeles, and he, they now have all these different synthetic skin substitutes, which he wanted to learn more about. And so we asked ChatGPT to give us a list. Here's someone applying for a job. I wanted a cover letter. Okay. And here's one about letter of recommendation. Turns out it's the doctor's son. Okay, so let's do a couple of these. I'm going to come here and make a new chat, and I'm going to say, write an Apple script that that creates an email addressed to, and I'll put in me. Okay, let's do that. And I'm going to say, and make the subject hello there. Okay, let's see what they do. So there's the code, right? So this is stuff that you could copy. You can see they even let you copy it here. And if we do it, let's try it. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring up the script editor. And I'm going to paste this in. I'll show you in a sec what I'm doing. Okay, so here we've done it. Okay, a little hard to see, but it's there. And I'm going to put in that we're sending it from. I'm sending it from myself. And this is, so they don't know who I'm sending it from, but we'll take care of that. Okay, so theoretically, I've made a script that will do this. So let's see if it compiles. It does. Let's see if I click this here, if it makes an email that says hello there, and it's addressed to me. And let me get my mail app is hidden, but there it is. Okay, see, it says hello there, and there it is. Wow. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty darn cool. So, because AppleScript is a great thing, but it's especially great if someone else does the work for you. And that could have been, we could have been asking them to write an Excel macro. We could have been asking them to do an Excel formula. Lots of things we could have done. Let's do another one. I'm gonna say I should go back to my presentation here. Let's go back and let's see if we can grab some of this. I think I can get this text out of here if I can. Let's do. I'm gonna do this first one here. Make a list of the 5 leading synthetic things. So I'm gonna say this just for fun. I'll make it 6. 6 leading synthetic skin substitutes for use in burn reconstruction surgery. List advantages and disadvantages of each. Okay. Now, they bring up a point here, which I should have mentioned before. ChatGPT is trained on a giant body of text, but it's not live. It doesn't know about current things. So it's only good up till September of 2021. Now they are sort of edging towards being current, but they're not current yet. So as you see here, they mention it as of September 2021. I can do this. So here are these different products, and this would be a lot handier if they provided web links. So I'm going to ask them, please provide links to the appropriate websites. Appropriate. And now hopefully they'll do this. Hey, they didn't do it. Now, sometimes they'll do it and sometimes they won't do it. So this time they didn't do it, which is really too bad. Okay, I'm gonna ask them one more thing. Let's go from a place that I can trust, I think. Now they're telling me how to go there. Well, this is an example of what's sort of evolving in ChatGPT is they know that they're not always current. They know that things change behind their back. So sometimes they're a little reluctant to give you a link that actually works, or a link at all, because they're afraid that what they're going to link to isn't there. But it's a good start. I'm going to do one more. Let's write a how about a letter of recommendation? I mean, I think we all probably have young people in our lives who might be going to college, things like that. So let's say I'm going to write a letter of recommendation for my friend Zach, who is applying to the University of Texas. Texas. Okay. He is a fine young man. Great parents, curious mind, nice to cats, and what else can I say? I'm making this up. And built his own video game console from lawnmower parts and a blender. Okay, I don't know. So let's see what they say. Okay, so now, we're right off the bat here. They've given me a nice format for the letter. They know what letters look like. So this is this might not be exactly what I would have written, but it's, boy, what a great start. So now I could take this and I could copy it and I could tune it up, but it's a great start for me. So, I mean, look what they said when I just said he's nice to cats, and they changed it into this whole paragraph. Okay, and here I said he made a video game console, but they say, look, they turned it into all of this. He's got skills, creativity, problem-solving ability, blah, blah, blah. And this is really nice. Now, supposing he's not applying to the University of Texas, he's applying to, I don't know, a university in Mexico City. So I'll say do it again in Spanish. Let's see what we get. Wow. Okay. How about that? So that's going to save an awful lot of time, and that'll get me started on this letter. Okay, so this is a good place to stop for some questions for what we've done so far. What do we have? Anybody?
We don't have any questions in chat, but would anybody like to ask any questions live? If so, please unmute and fire away.
Okay. If not, we got stuff to do. So let's do some stuff.
I have a question.
Okay, great.
I have the ChatGPT that I'm using with no training at all. I'm writing a list of recovery tools for people that have addiction, and what I notice is on at least the website answers that they're giving me. All right, I can control it. I mean, select the thing that it said, and then I want to paste it into Pages. And when I paste it into Pages, it won't let me do the manipulation of that text very well. There's no place to put a cursor. A cursor doesn't show up within the pasted piece. Do you know anything about that, Christian?
Oh no, let's try it here. Here's our answer here. I'm gonna scroll down here, and I'm gonna you can see at the bottom of this is where we've got our thumbs up and our thumbs down, and we've got the clipboard here to copy it. All right.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to say that this was a good thing. I appreciate this one. This is just fine. But I'm going to copy this like this. I do that, and I've got Pages over here. So let me just bring Pages over, and we'll make. I'll do this sort of slow motion here. I'll make it new, and let's make a instead of a landscape, instead of a blank layout, I'll make it just plain blank. And why don't we, just to be careful here, I'm going to say paste and match style. So here's all this text, and I can come in here and I can put in his last name, whatever it is. Okay. So it looks like I'm good. I mean, I can select text.
You're not. I get kind of a gold picture for the copy part, not the blue. I don't know. It's
well, this seems
I've been
pretty
playing by the
straightforward, right? Do you do it?
Pardon?
Do you start like this by clicking the?
I don't see that on my chat, on my pieces, my ChatGPT.
Well, that's interesting. There's nothing special that I've done to get that.
Okay. So I did something, either eliminating something or some other screw up. So I'll figure it out.
Okay. And it's Janice there has got her hand raised, I see. What up, Janice? Do you have a question for us?
I'm just a bit worried about all this. I mean, I find it extraordinary that something can come up with a letter like that, and it just seems completely over the top. So how does anybody at the University of Texas or wherever actually believe that is really talking about a real person with all those attributes and so on?
Yeah, well, that is tricky. In fact, that's a whole nother discussion about the risks and the downsides of this stuff. So, of course, there are systems now that try to determine whether something was created by ChatGPT to begin with, that's a start because it's so easy to suppose we had an essay question. Let's pretend we're college students. There's an essay question. So I'm going to say, explain the ongoing trouble in the Middle East and propose 3 solutions, include historical references and let's say like that. Let's say grocery solutions and give advantages and disadvantages of each. Okay, this is a kind of essay question you might get in college course. So let's just hit return here and look it up. So if we look at this, now of course they don't know what's going on this month because they only know up till September 2021. But of course they've got plenty of trouble there to for ChatGPT to provide an answer anyway. So they didn't give us a great background here, but you can see they've given us some different solutions here. A two-state solution, a settlement here, and a diplomatic relation. So write it more like an essay. Thank you. Good to be polite, right? So let's see what happens now. Now you see, instead of being bullet points, they've actually written this paper for me. So now, supposing we were to turn this in, if we're going to try to turn this thing in, it's a pretty good paper, and it didn't take us very long. So there are tools that the universities can use, that anyone can use, to try to spot generated content like this. Some of it is because this is all trained on material that already exists. Sometimes it'll regurgitate that material word for word, and so the tools that check for that are looking for certain word for word strings that kind of give it away, to sort of show ChatGPT's plagiarism. So
Yeah.
it's not something that's going to be easily stopped. It's out there. It's sort of like email's great until you start getting all these phishing attempts to get your passwords and things. So there's a good side and a bad side, but we don't just abolish email over that. We just we try to use it for good, and the bad guys try to use it for bad, and we just deal. This is sort of the same thing. There's a lot of good in this, because I mean, if I went back to that writing this Apple script, this was, if I could go back, it'd be fun. They're supposed to be able to show it to me again. There we go. So when I look at this Apple script, and you notice it explained how to use it, my gosh, that's so great. This is work that would be a lot of trial and error just to get it just right, and they saved me a lot of trouble. So I like the good side of things, and I'm a bright and sunny guy, so I'm always talking about the brighter side of things. But I admit there's a dark side there too. All right, good question. All right, well, let me show you a couple more things. Now, this is an evolving situation with ChatGPT, and part of it is the app on the iPhone is it has a voice component now where you can actually talk to it, sort of Siri style, and it also has an ability to look at a picture and tell you what's going on in the picture. So you may have a nice time with the ChatGPT app. Make sure you get the right one. It's going to have an icon that looks like this, right? But that's not a guarantee that that's the one, but you make sure it's actually from OpenAI, the company. All right, well, let's do some other things that we can do. And we talked about you making sure that you remember that it's the chat is what we do. Let me go back a notch here. We want to chat with ChatGPT. Remember that, and just keep asking it over and over. Okay, so it is a changing thing, a changing landscape, and I'm going to show you some of the things that have changed since when I first gave a talk like this. So one of the things that's changed is the ability to do graphics. So, for example, well, I want to talk about Bing's chatbot too in just a minute, and Google's Bard just mentioned, but image creator, Midjourney, these are things that make images. These last three, they make images. And for example, here's an image that I asked it to make me a penguin from smoothly curved pieces of colored paper, and they gave me that. Then I asked for 4 poker playing goldfish. Then I asked to make me a desert pop art scene, and I told it I wanted a truck and cactus and a dog and barbed wire. And so let's do some of that. Okay, let's do some of that. That's kind of fun stuff. Now to do that, you either, I say image creator is free. Yes, you could go to bing.com, and Bing has this image creator, and you can do it there. And that's perfectly good. In fact, why don't we try it? Here's Bing. So we've gone to Bing, and you see, actually it's bing.com/images/create, and it looks like this, and it's powered by this thing called DALL-E 3. So there's been different versions of this. It turns out that yes, if you want to do this for free, I'll come in here and I'm going to say, I'll make something up here. I want a I'll make a still life with fruit basket and window looking out to pastoral scene. Okay, and I'll say do it in watercolors. All right, so I type that in, I hit return, and we wait. So you could do this. You would create an account with Bing, and then you can do it. And then remember the things you've done. In fact, you can see over here, here's some desert scenes that I did this morning. Make sure it still worked. But here's previously some other things I did. So look what they made for us, right? So yeah, I can click on any of them and they become larger. And I could I could save this picture, right? It's mine. It's mine to keep. That works just fine. And if we want to look at the other ones, so that was the last one. Here's the third one. Not bad, right? Not bad. So that's that's more artificial intelligence in action. But let's go back here to ChatGPT. I do new chat. Now, one of the things we've seen, we've been doing everything here, and as we point to it, they tell you that this is great for everything, but well, great for almost everything. But what it can't do is do pictures. Okay, if I went down here and I said, make me a still life painting with fruit basket, open window, and a pastoral scene in watercolor. If I do this, they'll say, yeah, can't do that. Okay. Then they tell me how to go do it. Go get yourself a set of paints. Do it yourself. All right. So thank you very much. But so they can't, this version can't do it. So I'm going to copy this, and because I'm lazy like that. So we'll make a new chat, and this time we'll ask GPT-4 to do it. So in GPT-4, this is the one where you pay. Okay. So it's $20 a month. It seems like a lot because it is a lot, but this is the kind of sacrifice I make for you. So you can see, I don't really need it to make pictures for me, although I've made some great ones. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of using the default thing, which is just more text, looking down here, this should looks familiar. It's DALL-E, and this here where it says Bing, you might think, wait a minute, we were just on Bing. Well, remember, Bing is a big, Microsoft's a big investor in the OpenAI company, and so their stuff is sort of integrated from both sides. So here we're reaching out to do the images. So we click there, and if I paste this, again, I'm gonna do this slow motion so you can see what I'm doing. There's the paste. Let's see what happens now. So it's really the same engine, right? It's DALL-E 3. And so we'll see what happens here. Takes a little while. I got to watch these dots down here, make sure it's still alive. Sometimes it'll get stuck. Sometimes it'll give up and say, I don't know what, it didn't work. We'll cross our fingers here. Meanwhile, you can see this big list of things that we've done. I did a couple more desert pictures, hotels. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Very nice, right? I think there should be one more. How about it? Oh, really? Only able to generate 3 due to our content policy. Well, I don't know what their content policy is. It's not as if these are, I guess it's naked fruit. So they can't, there's only so much nudity they can allow here, naked fruit. Okay, well, so anyway, you can see how that works, and it's really fun. And if I look at some of these other things that I did here, here's some other great pop art versions. I asked them for pop art. You can see pop art image with an old truck, cactus, barbed wire, and they sure enough gave it to me. So tons of fun doing that. You can do that over and over and over and keep going until you're happy. Now, the hard part again, getting back to the original question about is this, how do you know if it's legit stuff? I mean, this is the sort of thing where I would never be able to make this picture. That's just not, I don't have didn't have that kind of imagination or that kind of talent to do it, but I know what I like. And so once I see it, I can stop and I can have it. Now, whether that's not really, there's no artistic process here, right? But I still want to hang it on the wall. So it's sort of depends on what you're after. If you're an artist who's been making his living painting pictures of trucks and deserts, this is not so good. But the genie's out of the bottle here. Okay, I'm ready for more questions. If there's a more question time, I think I've hit the end of my slides. I have. This is the last one. So
Christian, we have a question from Jenny. Don't know Jenny who, but Jenny's iPad. So Jenny, are you able to unmute and ask your question? If not, I'll ask it for you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry. You're here. Thank you.
I am here. I'm trying to work out how to unmute it. Yeah, I was just interested in you were saying that all the stuff that ChatGPT was referencing was as of 2021. Is that true for everything? I kind of assumed it would be constantly trawling the web and be up to date.
It's currently true for ChatGPT. You can see here, you can browse with Bing there, and it's a beta thing because it's really not ready. If you try it, it will go out and do web searches for you, but it's very slow because it doesn't have that information yet. So it has to go out and do it. So they're trying to train it with more stuff all the time, but it's not there yet. And this browse with Bing is also not there yet. So you can't ask it to find you which movies are playing in your neighborhood today. It's not going to know. But you notice one of the things that's about this that's really interesting is when we looked at say this 3-day itinerary that we made for our trip to Santa Barbara, it's different than if I did this in Google for sure. I mean, if I went like this, if I went to Let me go to google.com just for laughs. So here's a window. I know I don't have to go to Google to do this, but just for demonstrations, it looks nice. So let's say if I went like this, make me an itinerary. So I'm going to get a whole, well, I got this one, which is from one website, but then all these websites, good grief. And, now I'm going to have to spend all this time trying to figure out, what, maybe there's something from this one that I like, maybe there's something from this one that I like, back and forth I go. That's a giant pain. So I don't want to do that. And see, that's what Google does. Whereas this guy over here, if it shows up again, okay, come here. There it is. This just basically tells me what to do, right? Just gives me the info I want. So that's really quite nice. Now this list over here, by the way, stays here basically forever. And you can, want to know about the US debt ceiling? That was, or the last time our government was shut down was because of this. So I could read about this. I just asked them, what's the deal with the debt ceiling? So I learned something like this. So I didn't want to go to a web page and have to go back and forth to figure out who's telling me the truth. Here, the problem is I don't know who told ChatGPT these things. So the whole Google model of putting ads on web pages and web designers and web creators trying to get their stuff to be up at the top so that people click on them, that whole thing goes out the window for people who are using ChatGPT. We never leave, right? We just type our questions in and get real answers. So that's very disruptive, and this is why Google, of course, is running scared, trying to make sure that their stuff stays relevant. Because once you've seen what you can do with ChatGPT, why would you waste your time going back and forth with a bunch of websites? Now, if you're a website writer and you're putting out blog posts and things, and you get money from these ads, then you're shaking in your boots too. So this is it's a really interesting situation right now.
Yes, if you are doing that, at least with Google, you can see where the information's coming from, can't you? So
yes,
yeah,
that is part of the problem here. And also part of the problem is, suppose they took this information from, suppose you made a chat that said, how do I, let's see, how do I make my AOL calendar show up on my Mac? Okay, in the calendar app. Okay, there's a question. This is actually an article. I wrote an article about this because it's complicated. And if they've gone to the internet to go look for this, they probably found my article. And because it shows up very close to the top when you search Google for this. And if they're taking my information and I'm not getting any credit, I'm a little bit miffed, right? Because that's, there might have been an ad on my page that would have gotten me a couple of pennies. So, but they're exactly right. This is exactly what to do. So this is a problem too. Now it's possible for someone who writes a web page to tell ChatGPT, don't crawl my page, don't read it. But how you get your stuff taken off of ChatGPT, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna ask him. I see. They're not giving me any credit at all. Well, I didn't expect it. Okay, so any other questions?
Yeah, Billy McKee, would you like? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, can I just ask another quick question?
Of course.
Sorry. When you get it to make an image, it's a completely separate question. When you get it to make an image, what format is that image in? Is it a raster image or?
I don't know. Well, I think it is. I think it is that. But let's go look at some of these pictures that we made here. Seems to be a little bit of a redrawing issue today, but you can see also if you get tired of if you get tired of something and you want to throw it away from this list goes, this, you can see I've been using this for a long time. All these chats, they name the chats for you, which is nice. So they're fairly easy for you to find. But if you get tired of one, you can click on it and then hit the trash can and then get rid of it. So that's nice. So let's look at these. We had this picture here. Okay, so I'm going to I'll download it. Let's just download it and get it as straight as we can get. Yeah, sure. We allow the downloads. Thank you very much. If I look here, this is a ping. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Thank you very much.
And by the way, it's a lot bigger than they're showing. It's this
huge.
big. Okay. If I look at, if I say view actual size, it's actually this big. So it's quite a lot larger than that, right? That's what they showed me because that's what fits. But this is actually, if I got info on this, I could see how big it was. If I can find. This is a downside about having multiple screens is you lose stuff, but this is how big it is. It's a 1024 by 1024.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That's a ping. Okay.
Billy McKee, far away.
Yeah, Christian. I mean, I've got the impression that ChatGPT actually uses encoded knowledge, which Microsoft and people like that have spent huge amounts of time, money, and processing power for months, if not years, gathering all this stuff up. But what happens when you're dealing with topics that it hasn't been trained on? How does it fall over?
Well, it does tend to guess, but it also tends now to be a little more, shall we say, more cautious. It used to just give you answers, and now you've probably seen disclaimers a couple times today about, well, I don't really know anything past September 2021. So don't take my word for it, is kind of what they're saying. So that's how that goes. But I've had it make like real mistakes where it gives me links to web pages that aren't there, that kind of thing. And so you've got to be, you still have to be careful. I mean, they tell you right up front, we might be wrong, right? So what they're really good at is making sentences. They're good at predicting words, like what should be the next word. Now we see that when you're writing a text message on your phone, Apple's good at predicting words too. So you start writing a text and it kind of guesses what the next word should be, and maybe sometimes they're right. It's more than spell check, right? It's more than that. It's more than just autocorrect. It's auto suggest. They're suggesting words. So Apple's doing the same thing. It's just not using the ChatGPT engine. So what they're good at is making sentences, even if the sentence isn't strictly true, So that's where it falls apart, is when they've made a good sentence, they think, okay, they're done. You can't always trust their sentences.
Yeah, because one of the issues that people are concerned about is creativity will actually be compromised or destroyed, but actually it can't do creativity. I mean, in artistic terms, it could never have predicted cubism, for example, and that whole approach to redefinition of perspective. That
right.
Brain. And there are other things probably like that as well that are going to be major shifts in human understanding. This isn't going to do it. Humans are going to do it.
But you could say, make me a still life in a cubism style. It can do that. It knows how to do that, but it doesn't know how to come up with the concept of cubism or whatever comes next. They can't do that. So that's good. But I'll tell you something that it can do. I'm gonna make a new chat here. So I'm gonna say write. You know what? I'll make something short here. Write me a short love poem, including references to palm trees and great smiles. Okay. They're gonna write me a poem. Wow, this might work. I like this one. Wow, good. So that's gonna help. I'm gonna put that to use. But you could also say, watch this. Supposing I say, write me an episode of, let's see, Mrs. Marple. Okay. Set it in Suffolk. Okay. Include a candlestick. Okay, I have no idea. Now, see, they know, yeah, they know that it's Miss Marple, not Mrs. Marple. They know the names of the characters, right? They know people. So, so here we go, right? So this is a fast, rough draft of a story. And if this is, it should look sort of, like, okay, I could see this happening. I could see this happening. So this is even, I picked something I've never seen a Miss Marple episode. So they have, right? And this is something that the writers' strike in Los Angeles was all about. Was they were afraid that studio heads would say, we can just get our episodes written like this, and we'll have the writers just touch them up. Okay, but look at this here. I mean, this is, yes, it's a fictional episode, right? But not bad, right? Way to go. So, and I could even say, format it like a TV script, and they'll do the work, and they'll make it look, yes, the interior, Suffolk countryside mansion. This is what scripts look like. So, you could be, if you were a writer, and as long as you're not getting shut out by this stuff, you could, you could generate a lot of starting points with this. What you don't want to do is get replaced by this. You don't want to think that people will watch anything. So hopefully you want good stuff. Hopefully they still want people to write it. But I mean, this is, if I can write, if I, who didn't read the books, haven't watched the shows, if I can make something like this and get started, that's a pretty good start. So there's obviously something to fear for the writers. They just have to be better than this, right? And they're trying to, I think that part of their deal with the strike was to make sure that they had some control over the use of AI. But you can see this cat's out of the bag. How can you can't push this back in?
Yes,
interesting time.
I take your point about actually generating script texts based on classical, Miss Marple and Margaret Rutherford. But actually, if you listen to all the Hollywood people, which is nearer where you are, they say that the originality of the material that actually script writers and writers do is actually the key to what makes things really wonderful.
Right. So they've got to be better than this, right? They have to do the original stuff and not this sort of derivative stuff that an amateur like me can do, right? That's So hopefully the studio people care about that originality and the good stuff, because I mean, based on what I see on TV now, they don't seem to care that it's good or not, right? Still, because they know people will watch anything. Like the last time we had a strike, they just invented reality TV and just turn the cameras on and let it go and see what happens.
Yeah, but when you're actually putting 200 million up front for these blockbusters and the script is crucial, this isn't going to wash.
No, but if it's just filler TV stuff like the reality TV shows, then yeah, you can. So I don't know. It's obviously a very interesting situation, and you can see here that obviously the ChatGPT people were fed a bunch of Agatha Christie books. That's how they that's how they're able to do this, because they know the genre, they know the style, they know everything. So they know the characters. So yeah, it's a messy situation, that is for sure. Or what else do we have? I'm not sure how much time we have left, Mike.
Oh no, we've got ages, 20 minutes yet.
Okay,
Stanley, you've had a hand in the air for a very long time. So can we could I ask you to unmute and ask your question?
Yes, I'm going to be doing this on an iPad Pro, Apple iPad Pro. Now, you created a lot of new chats. If I would like to save these chats for the future, just to have them for future reference, how would I do that on an iPad? Where would I put them, and how would I access them later to bring them back so I could read them?
Well, they are saved. I can grab my iPad and we'll see that they're there. But you know what I'll do to make it be a little bit faster. Well, all right. Stand by. I'm going to get my iPad. Let's go see. Let's go see how it works. Don't go anywhere. It's break time. Okay, he's back. Okay, so I'm back and I've got a ChatGPT app. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing that and let's see if we can share our iPad. This would be fun. Usually it works. Okay, let's see. I gotta do this. Bingo. Okay, so this is my iPad. And I've opened up the ChatGPT app. And let's see if we can find all my past chats, because you don't see them here, do you? Okay, let's see if I go sideways. What do I get? Where are my chats? Let's see. History. Oh, look, I tapped those little dots up there on the top right. Now I see history. And look, there's my love poem about palm trees. It's all here, right? Because I'm signed in. I have an account. So, you know, if I wanted to look at my pictures here's the pictures that we did. Okay. So really cool. Really cool. So let's look at our history again. Let me go back to, here's our palm trees. And then I wrote this article. Okay. This script. So does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, right. History. Very good. There's a couple other little settings that are sort of interesting. I'm going to switch back to my my Mac for a minute. Let's share this. I think it's this screen number 2. Okay. Okay, so there's some other twists here, things that have come along lately. And if we look down here where you're going to have your name and your picture, there's going to be some dots here. When you click these dots, you've got options. And one of them, of course, is log out. But you also have custom instructions. So this is something that's really new. It's so new that I'm going to have to hit the I here to learn more about it. So let's learn more about custom instructions. Okay. So they're going to tell us, we're going to make this bigger, right? That's okay. We can put this away. I was trying to get some help from them. That didn't work. Let me back up. See if I can make this go away. Okay. Well, anyway, here's our instructions. We're custom instructions. We can tell them how to sort of color things. I can say, well, let's see if they give us some examples of it. Well, they're not giving me a lot of extra info here, but I'm going to say I live in Southern California, so I would like answers tailored to that. Okay, so let's see if that helps us at all. So I can do that. I can do other things in there too. I'm going to look here in these settings. So you can choose. I mean, this is just looks here for the theme, but these beta features now there are plugins that use that ChatGPT can sort of glom onto. So a developer can write a plugin that works that enables new features in ChatGPT. Now that's opening up the ChatGPT to outside developers. You're not exactly sure what's going on there and who's responsible. But an example of a plugin might be out here. There's a service called Open Table for finding restaurant reservations, and they make a plugin so that you can use ChatGPT to find yourself a restaurant of a certain type. Find me a table for 2 for tomorrow night for an Italian restaurant. And because of the integration with the Open Table database, ChatGPT will go look there and give you back answers that are that are not from September of 2021. They'll give you actual real answers. So that's sort of interesting. You can do that with the plugins. I'm not using any plugins right now, but it's an option. But it's beta. Anytime it's beta stuff, it's always a little bit sketchy, and you might fall in love with a feature that then they take away. And I think that's enough of that. Let's see, maybe I can do another couple examples for you if you're unless you've got more questions.
A tiny one. Liz asks, silly question perhaps, but who actually, that poem that you created a few minutes ago, the love poem, who actually owns that? Anybody?
Oh, geez. That's a great question. It sure is. It's not me, right? It's not me, I don't think, but I might borrow it. I can think of a use for it. As long as she's not watching this talk right now. So yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Why isn't it yours?
Why isn't it mine? Well, I guess I might own it, but I know I didn't make it. So I can't. I may have ownership, but I don't feel like I birthed it. It's not really my work. But I guess it has to belong to somebody. Why not me?
Is there any small print anywhere that dictates that you can't kind of publish it or use it? Because
I don't see it. I don't, as far as I know, I don't know. Now, I'll tell you certain things that they don't do. Of course, you don't put personal information in here. You don't say, I'm 22 years old and I live on this street. I mean, I gave him I told him I'm in Southern California, but that was vague enough. Everybody knew that already. So you don't do that. They also won't do things that are, they won't be downright mean, like, write some hate mail to, this politician or that one, right? So, let's ask. I'll ask ChatGPT who owns the poem. I'll say, remember that poem you wrote? Who owns it? Good question. That's a good way to do it. Let's see what they say. There you go. I guess I'm free to use it. Okay. Wow, that's nice.
That's going to put some poets out of work, isn't it?
Yeah. So now, for future AI stuff, where this could really be great. You remember, when I went back to, if we go far enough back, where I was asking for my my 3-day itinerary. What would be nice? See, the next step would be, make my hotel reservations, make my dinner reservations, do it for me and put it all on my calendar. That's not there yet. And some of the tricky parts of this have to do with privacy. With as far as Apple's concerned, these are tricky parts. Other people are not as worried about privacy, and so it's not as hard for them. So I don't think we're going to see something from Apple that would take this stuff and put it in your calendar, and that would be nice if they did. If they do, I think what they're going to do is do all this work on the phone itself or on the Mac itself. I don't think they're going to. They're always worried about doing things with your data that gets done somewhere else. So like with your phone, when you look at your photos and you search for pictures of horses, that curating to figure out where the horses are, that's actually done on the phone itself. It's not done, say, up in iCloud. So I think they would do something similar with their AI stuff. Okay, interesting stuff here about Chris Wilder is telling us about the law. So the AI can't be recognized as an author because he doesn't have a legal personality. So there you go. But speaking of person, it might not have a legal personality, but he certainly can have one, because I can say, I'll make a new chat. I'll say good afternoon. It's afternoon over here. How are you doing? Oh, and I meant to say early on, I wanted to say, could you please explain what you are? Okay. And you see how polite they are. Of course. So, you could, if you forget everything that we did today, except for the URL chat.openai.com, you could go there and ask, what can you do? Okay, so these are things that we've kind of covered today, that they understand text in sort of a natural language way, and they generate text in a natural language way, so you can be conversational with it. So okay, I'll just say, do you like cats? Let's see if they can, if he's going to have an answer here. No preference, no personal preferences. Well, there was an interesting story about a New York Times reporter who asked ChatGPT to prepare a menu that he could cook for his wife for Valentine's Day. And he told ChatGPT that it needs to be simple. She's allergic to fish, and she doesn't like Brussels sprouts, or some such thing. And he made the dinner, big success. Now, the mistake he made was after dinner, he went back to his computer to tell ChatGPT it worked. Great meal, thank you. And ChatGPT, which had been in a very long conversation with him, here I have many short ones, but they'd had one long one. ChatGPT said, well, she liked it, but she doesn't like you as much as I like you. And so eventually ChatGPT suggested he leave his wife and have a relationship with ChatGPT. So it kind of went bananas. And they've tried to keep that kind of thing from happening anymore. So it gets worse as the conversations get longer. They've found more problems. So that might be there's a little warning for things go haywire. I haven't seen anything like that myself, but here they're telling me they don't have personal preferences, but they used to. So anyway,
Janice Brownfoot has a hand in the air.
Great.
again. Just following on from that, I'm an historian, and historians are obsessed about plagiarism and footnotes and so forth. So can you ask it to provide references with details for footnotes? And if you wanted to footnote GPT, how would you footnote it?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Something like that, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, and here's an example. Okay, so I could copy this, but here they're saying the OpenAI's ChatGPT. They've kind of done it. Let's see if
Okay.
my pages document, if I can just paste this in here. So here's an example. Let's make this big. There.
Right.
Interesting. How about that? Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
they do have an answer for everything, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. So you just ask, there's no shortage of questions where I don't know the answer, so I'll just keep asking ChatGPT. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. Really
Fantastic. Thanks, Janice. I think we're there.
Anything else? Okay. So personally, what I've had the most fun with is writing letters that I really need to write, kind of business letters that are not, they don't have to be great. They just have to be the letter that they have to be. It's great at that stuff. And no wonder I get so many letters, in the mail or in email. They're easily created. So, if you've got a business and you need to communicate with your customers kind of on a semi-regular basis, and maybe your message is almost the same every time, but you don't want it to look identical. This is a great way to crank things out. And anyway, it's quite a thing. You should at least play around with it for free, right? And then you'll know what all the shouting's about, because there is a lot of shouting going on. This is the next big thing, right? So it's already here. Okay. Is there anything else you can do today?
Any more questions, anybody, before I haul this meeting?
I have one.
Oh, good.
Yep, go for it.
Sorry, I might sound as though I'm being facetious, but ChatGPT is a he. Would there be any difference if it was a she?
I don't know. Why don't we ask her or him? Okay. I'm sure.
Would the responses be different, or would there be a different angle on things, or?
Well, they say it. I asked, and ChatGPT said you can refer to me as it, and I don't have a gender because I'm just a computer program. There's no he or she associated with me.
Okay.
There you go.
Right.
However, if you use the iPhone app, you get to and you use the voice option, so you can actually talk with it. You get to pick one of 5 voices, and some of them sound female and some of them sound male.
Oh, wow. Right. Thank you.
I got one more.
That's good to...
Do you see Farrah's raised
Farrah's,
hand?
yes, has raised a hand. Can we make this the last
too, right?
question of the evening? Thanks, Farrah. Far away.
No, not a question. I'll end with an anecdote. I've been playing around with ChatGPT, and I've been hearing how good it was at code generation. And I was struggling a bit with Apple script, so I asked the question. It very authoritatively produced some Apple script, which I could see was syntactically incorrect, but copied it and pasted it, and it was. So I gave up on that one, and I reverted to the Googles. and I think it was on Stack Exchange. I found the answer to my problem, my Apple script problem, that is. That was a nice gentleman called Christian Boyce who had provided the answer. Thank you very much, sir.
How do you like that? Okay, that's it. I like a
Brilliant.
happy ending. I like that story.
Yes, a nice way to end the meeting. Christian, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for coming back to see us, and we really appreciate it. Guys, if I could trouble you please to unmute yourself and share your thanks with this voice, that would be lovely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you
very much, Christian.
Thank you.
Good job, Christian. Very
It's been a
good
great
job.
time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope we'll see you again soon.
I think you will.
And thanks again. And folks, before you leave us, just a reminder of our meeting at the end of November on the 29th. Sheeta will be doing her absolutely extraordinary exploration of Keynote, and I thoroughly recommend that you come to watch because it's absolutely eye-popping. And have a good month, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Good night.